Hi everyone, my name's Electric Donkey and today we're back reviewing another game. So today we're reviewing a game called Escape Rooms, pretty generic kind of title. Fits quite nicely though. You could maybe think of something more, but I mean, most escape room kind of games do have simple names, so it kind of fits, I think. Overview. I'm not sure where I'm going with this project. Currently it's a very small demo. I'll be adding more levels as I work on it and expand some of the ideas. I think I'm going to turn it into an asset on the marketplace, but I might try to make it into a full-fledged game. Feedback. Any feedback is good feedback. I'm not too focused on the art, interface, sound yet, etc. But I'm still interested in what works and what doesn't. I'm also not trying to make masterpiece levels. They currently serve as a means of testing things out, but I am trying to at least follow some basic good practices and not make them horrible to solve. So I'm also interested in what works and doesn't on these. If anyone has suggestions on things you would put into or want in an escape room asset on the marketplace or in any escape room game, I'm very curious. And there's some little things there with the roadmap. And I've accidentally closed this down, so I'm just gonna quickly get that back up. Be in the Game Maker games. There we go. Okay, so this is Escape Rooms. Sorry about this. There it is. Okay. Right. So at the moment there's 4 levels, although interestingly it starts on 0, which in programming terms does make sense, but not in terms of most terms. That's also really weird. I never knew it did that. I don't think that's your fault. I think it's probably Game Maker's fault, but that's an interesting one. You just make it this bit. Anyway, what I found in these levels, the first level was pretty simple. Not too many problems there. The second level, again, was pretty simple, I thought. Not too many problems. And these ones were all relatively easy to follow. Now, the next few were a little bit more complicated to follow, I thought. These ones were it was just kind of counting. I got the key, brilliant. And then we've got these colours. And then obviously we can change the colours here. So this was the bit that I actually got stuck on this one. But I guess here it gives us a nice little chance to talk about some different things. There's quite a lot of things going on here already. So yeah, I'm just going to go through what those things are. So first of all, I actually really like the art. I know you said that you're not focused on the art and stuff, but I still really like it. It's quite minimalistic, but it fits really well, I think, into the kind of escape room puzzle feel. Because I feel like a lot of these escape room type games, or like Escape the Room and all sorts, they seem to have like over the top visuals, and it almost seems a little bit too much. There's too much going on, and it's often quite hard to see what it is that you're trying to do. Whereas in a simple game like this, it's more just about thinking, and everything's kind of clean. There's nothing that's massively like complicated or anything. It's all just pretty simple stuff. In terms of the puzzles though, they seem pretty tricky, pretty you make you think enough. So I actually quite like the art. That was my main point with this. Was that basically I think it would work quite well as like an asset, for example, as you said, with this kind of art style, because it fits pretty well with what you're trying to do. So you can see here we've got 2 colours there, and we've got 2 colours there. And of course you don't have to be a genius to know that that doesn't add up to be quite the right number. We've got a total of 8, and we've only got 5 here. So we need to kind of think about how we could double up, I think. I think this is how this works. Probably need to like write this down if you want to properly solve it. But in terms of the game, let's try and think about what's going on here. So there's actually quite a few things that make it seem a lot like better than it probably is, to be honest. And the thing that personally gets me is this kind of like I don't know what you call it, like jumping out at you when you click on something. It just feels like, I don't know, I like it. I like it quite a lot. It feels like just a little bit of extra thought's gone into a lot of things, and it does it on everything pretty much. Even though it's not too like complicated thing to code and stuff, it does at least prove that you've pressed on something. Obviously, it doesn't work for the things that don't work, but it works for most things. So yeah, that's something that I quite like about this whole thing. If we go back, so I'm guessing with these, the last tile's got to be yellow because none of these other have yellow in. And then I'm thinking from this start tile, I mean we've got two pinks at the start there, and we've got a blue and a red. We've got red there, we've got a red there, we've got a blue there. So technically this first tile could be anything, but we could work backwards, say that this one has got to be red, which already is. And now if we come back over here, so this next one has got to be pink, I think. And now we've got a few options, I think, from pink to, we could have pink to blue. We could have just pink to blue, I guess. And now I guess we could probably just guess this. There we go. We escaped. Brilliant. So that wasn't actually that hard. It was pretty simple. I feel like at its premise, the puzzles are quite simple. Like, it wouldn't take a genius to like look at this and think, right, what do I need to do here? Because it's pretty much just adding up. One thing that I didn't particularly like about this, and this is kind of again just personal preference, I think, based on puzzle games I've played in the past, and this big thing is, and it won't show up because we won't have any sound on this recording, but when you actually hit this on the right numbers, it makes a sound there when it opens, and like that's great, but if I had no clue what these were, I could just like randomly flick through, and they only go up to 9, so there's not like masses of combinations. You could just do this and you'd probably get it pretty quick, especially because it's 333. It's a pretty simple number, so maybe that's something to think about there. This third one I didn't actually finish. This was something that I didn't necessarily like, and this is just this puzzle specifically. It seemed to be a bit random, like which book it was. It was just specifically that book, and it gave us this kind of code. I almost felt that it needed a little bit more to it than that. I mean, I may be missing something here. That's quite possible. But from what I can see, it's just a matter of clicking randomly on the book. And this was the bit that I didn't quite get, was the numbers. So you seem to have got a code here, but it doesn't seem to work. And yeah, I got a little bit confused. We seem to have a ladder as well, which doesn't seem to be doing for anything, used for anything. So from what I can see, maybe I'd be led to believe that this level is possibly like not quite as done as the others. It feels almost a bit more rushed than the others, or maybe just more complex. I'm not sure, to be honest. There may be something I'm missing that's quite big here, but it seemed to be that it was a little bit random with the numbers. I'm not sure. Don't know. So yeah, maybe that's something to think about with this very last level. But in terms of what you should do with this project, I think you could go either way, to be honest. I'd like to see more levels, and you'd probably have to make more levels to demonstrate if you did the marketplace route anyway. And I would like to quite play the game when it's actually finished. But of course, if you don't feel you have the time to properly make it or anything, if you did do it as an asset, then someone else could quite easily take it on and possibly make more complex levels and stuff if they had more time to do that and less time to focus on the code. So that's maybe something to think about, which one you would actually rather do. Would you rather do the level design, or would you rather do the coding? Because that's kind of the two sides of it, I guess, and also how much time you've got in general. So that's just something that you kind of need to think about. But anyway, that's been my review of Escape Rooms. If you like this review, remember to like, subscribe, or do as you want to do, and I'll talk to you in the next one.